Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's recording.
Oh shit.
Oh, this is episode 24 of the I Don't Know What to Do with My Life podcast. Special guest.
My name's Collin. I'm Casey's younger brother.
You can see that
Out
shit was
here in
planned.
Spokane.
You could tell that was planned based on that long pause. How we do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh, man. So,
Oh yeah.
first topic of the podcast. So Collin over there was doing some dabbitry,
Oh
which is
yeah. See, I just got this new piece, and it's called a nectar collector. I got a mini one. It's about the size of like my middle finger, and
the size of my dick.
I just heat up the end there, put the dab on there, and I just touch it to it. Just melts right around it perfectly.
And this
And
is
see,
it's like earwax, the marijuana earwax.
yeah, it's like crumbly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the advantages, because I've done both. I've done the flower of the marijuana and the butter and the weed and what do you like about that versus the flower?
Well, I haven't done too many edibles. Too many good edibles, I feel like. Like, most of the good ones I've done have been, like, brownies. And I like those because they're all such different highs. Like, with the brownies, you finish those, you lay down. You kind of just sink into where you're sitting, you know?
You can tell we're high on this podcast because I asked him about dabs versus flower, and he's like, the thing about edibles.
Hey, you said butter, though. You said butter.
Well, I guess, but I mean, specifically when you smoke it with the smoke, because the edibles, I went on a kick recently, and it backfired on me pretty hard, which we'll talk about in a sec. But
It's really easy to
yeah,
overdose.
oh
Into,
dude,
you know.
it was bad. It built up in my system over the course of a week,
Oh,
and
shit.
because when you eat it, it's in your stomach, so you have to shit it out, and if you don't, it's in there, and it I don't know, it stacked up on me, fucking all in one day, and it was brutal.
Man.
But
I
the specific,
get
yeah,
super perma-fried off of, like, any edible I try.
right. But then, okay, so when it comes to smoking, when you're smoking the
Yeah.
earwax, the dabs versus the flower, what do you like about the dabs? What do you like about the flower? Go.
So the dabs, it's definitely the quickness. Like, it's right to the point. But with the flower, which I prefer, it's all about the process, you know. Whether you're rolling a blunt or whether you're packing a bowl, it's a process, you know.
Packing it
And
in.
you got to put the keep on top. Like, there's just so many steps to it. And
Yeah.
it makes it more rewarding, I feel like.
Do you think the flower is more rewarding, but the quickness of the dab and the power, the concentrated power, is convenient?
Yeah, but I have been smoking dabs more, just
Yeah.
for the cost effectiveness.
Because it's really powerful. It's like going to a juice bar. It's like everything's concentrated down into
Yeah,
it's
I
way
can
more
really save
drug-like.
my money that way.
I don't know. Yeah. Either way, it just always gets me too high too quickly, so then I can't feel if I'm high for sure. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I'm so high I can't tell that I'm high, basically.
Yeah, sometimes I'll take one
What?
after work and I'll go to this place I call the Void, which is kind of where your
Yeah.
eyes just get super heavy and it just hurts to keep them open. So it's like,
Yeah.
no matter where you are, you're like, this is it. You're like, this is my resting place. Like,
Dude, that's what happened to me with the edibles. I couldn't move. We were having practice one day, and I couldn't move that day, and I had to sleep for 6 hours. It was brutal.
dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like a super body high, like,
Yeah.
perma-fried.
Dude,
I would go for cereal.
cereal.
Cereal is the
Oh,
money,
yeah,
no
of
matter
course. But
what.
the first time I had the good edible experience, I got the wild gummies. The
Yeah.
unofficially brought to you podcast by Wild Gummies. Unofficial because I ain't getting sued. Oh, the caffeine's kicking in. So I did these gummies, and you get the 50 milligram pack, which is 10 gummies, right?
Yeah.
And the serving is like half of a gummy, which is 5 milligrams. And I was like, oh my god, dude.
Fuck
And
that.
every
Yeah.
time I've got them before, and every time I've done the 5 milligram, I never can tell. So I ate the whole thing, and Jake was coming over,
Oh,
because he was coming over.
Were they good?
Yeah, they were good. Well, he was coming over for practice, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Subway real quick. You want to come?" I'm like, "Sure." So I jumped in the car right after eating them, and then we hit a traffic jam, and I started getting like these waves of like, I almost like started freaking out and almost like lost it, but then I held it together, like, and I started getting like these waves of like, oh, it was crazy
Oh,
because
these
I ate all
waves
of
of
them.
anxiety. Like,
Anxiety, but also like tingling, like actual like waves of like physical like, and that was a good experience. So then I was like, well, I'm gonna do this all the time.
man, I think the worst experience I ever had was I was in a car and I kept feeling like my legs were in a certain position, like they kept falling in a certain position, but they weren't moving. And it was tripping me out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, I keep shaking my legs. I keep shaking myself in the car. What do you think your worst experience was? Like your worst high?
My worst high was when I was, one of the first times I actually got high. It was when I was hanging out with Jace, from high school, who's my friend in high school. He was Korean, South Korean to be specific. But
Okay.
so we went to this party. It was just when I started like drinking, which was like fucking age 22. And so I was drinking, and then they rolled a blunt, and they were like, "Hey, you want to try some of this?" And I was like, "Sure." And it was the first time I'd like done a blunt, and then also I was drinking. So then I went to the bathroom. I
Oh
instantly thought
man.
I was gonna die. When you get the first spin. Went to the bathroom, and I just like laid on the ground at the bathroom, and for some reason my head was like against the tub, like in a 90, bent in like a 90 degree like that. And I was just like
Oh,
laying on the ground like that, just like, the bathroom was locked, and everyone was banging on the door, like thinking I was like OD, like committing suicide or something,
no, he literally
dude.
dead.
Oh, dude, and then, oh my god, dude, and that was the craziest time that I ever drove, like, fucking destroyed. I was driving,
Really? Oh man.
and I was on the
That's rule
freeway,
number
dude.
one.
I was going like 45 on the freeway, but it was so late at night, and I was like, I couldn't even like, everything was spinning. I couldn't see the freeway. I had to keep blinking to keep bringing it back, because as soon as I blinked, it would start to drift, and I had to
Dude, I know
blink.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I get that way when I get super
Yeah.
tired, and it makes me super night blind.
Oh, dude. And, well, I can say this now. The statute of limits, I don't know what they can't get you for that years after. It's not like murder. But I drove home, like, safe, and I made it. I've always driven home safely. No, I'm not like Cam, where I go have one beer and then get a DUI. Like, never.
Yeah, drive a car with no doors.
Yeah, that's what I was Yeah. No headlights, no windshield wipers, no windows. Like,
I
dude,
don't
come
need
on.
that.
Yeah, there's no safety regulations on these vehicles.
Oh man.
Uh, but your car was sick, though.
Yeah, I drive a 2000 Cadillac Eldorado. I know you know that, but
Yeah, you got to remember, if
crafty.
anyone listens,
Yeah, I
which
really
is when we listen.
I really spent all my money on that, to be honest. Like at the time, I had barely over 6,500. So when I bought it, it was all in.
Oh, balls.
It was all in. I knew I was going to get a couple more paychecks, a little over $1,000 each, but that was
What'd you
balls
pay
to the
for it?
walls.
You paid.
65.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a good investment though, because my first car was $2,000,
Yeah.
so it was like, which was fine actually. And it ran for a long time. It was the perfect first car, but yours is actually a nice car. You could go to drive to Seattle, no problem.
Yeah, it's like, it's been so nice kept up on. Like they had
Yeah.
two owners. They both lived in Davenport. So it's like, they're not taking it anywhere. It had, I think 145K. See, there's the dolphin noise. The
145, dude.
ADD. I got the same ADD you do.
Dude, the freaking the Buick had 50,000 miles on it, dude. The Buick had
Really?
50,000, son. 50.
Man.
You believe that shit? The shit was brand new, essentially. It had a little hole in the headliner, which eventually melted the headliner completely out. But
How did the Buick end up dying?
oh, it didn't die. I sold it right before. It was literally at like 99,999 miles, and I didn't see it click to 100, and I sold it for $500, and someone drove it away. And as soon as they drove it away, it face off click over. Yeah,
See,
so,
I would have been a little upset about that.
I actually kind of, like, I sold it, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Now I have a car that I can, because the focus was to escape Spokane, so I could drive it to Seattle, and I would know it would make it for sure, you know?
Yeah, you wouldn't have to just roll the dice.
Yeah, so I got it, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that thing's out of here. And as I watched it drive away, I was just like, ah, shit.
You're like thinking about that last
I was thinking about, not only that, I was thinking about, like, shit, that's a fuckload of memories, dude. That was my first taste of freedom. The first time I had a vehicle to myself, you know, the first anything, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the first thing I
Yeah,
drove
that's hilarious.
was the Kia Optima, our parents, and I never,
Wow.
like, it's not mine, obviously, but
Started out high, though. Yeah, it's nice.
yeah,
I had
you got,
Suburban.
we all know how that went.
Yeah, you know, the one wreck of my life and the very last. Ash has been like,
Hey,
dude, Ash has owned like 12 cars, dude. This is my second car I've ever owned.
you almost killed people, though.
Nah, they're alright. They're strong.
The Suburban wasn't I.
Sissies. Yeah, I know. Cam's car got
pussy.
totaled. Cam's Taurus got freaking totaled for like a dent in the front left panel. And he fucking, that's the thing I don't understand with insurance stuff. You can just total the car out even if it's still running and then like completely functioning.
I'm not sure. I've never even been through that, actually.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it has something to do with like if the cost of repair is greater than the value of the car or something, they just say fuck it and they just go crush it into a cube and dump it in the ocean or something. Like something like that.
Like,
yeah, some turtle like sitting on it trying to lay eggs or something. I don't know. They dig in the sand. I don't know.
man, that's crazy. The percentage of fish that are just undiscovered, the wildlife that's just in the deep sea. That's so crazy,
dude, you know,
to think about for me. Like,
dude, you've seen The Abyss, right?
oh yeah, you already know.
Yeah, dude, that's the shit. That's why that movie's awesome because
That's
that
like the
could
precursor of it.
that could be because for anyone who doesn't know The Abyss, you're a loser.
You need to watch it. It's
yeah,
a
I'm not even
must
gonna
watch.
explain it. You know, you can get the idea from the name. The Abyss, it's deep. Just go watch it, bitch. Yeah.
Phenomenal
Well,
movie.
dude, I was just dreaming about like Ashton's like, I've never really done snorkeling. I'm like, holy shit. You come out to Liberty Lake. I remember snorkeling there and just like swimming like with the sun, the beams of sunlight coming down through the water, and I'm swimming like down through the seaweed, like snorkeling, and it's like sunny and there's fish swimming like with me down below me and shit.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's like,
awesome.
wow. It was I was like, wow, this is fucking paradise, dude.
You
Like,
can go by the cliffs too. It's
dude, I'd love to live back in Liberty Lake at some point when I'm done with any kind of hopes and dreams of doing something unpredictable for a living, you know.
you might as well try. That's my thing is I almost don't want to try because I don't want to be disappointed, but it's like I can't just do something that'll only make money, you know. I'll never feel fulfilled with.
Well, yeah. So my idea is that I can try this unpredictability shit, and I'm about to try to seriously considering getting into like stand-up comedy and giving it a good fucking 10 years run and trying. I can always fucking get a job in Spokane, try to get a place near Liberty Lake, and go cut firewood and just work, you know.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome. Once I'm done with my hopes and dreams, I just want to get a little house somewhere and have firewood and make a fire every day when I come home. Like that's
It's a simple dream.
yeah,
It's a good one though.
I can always fall back to that. But at first, I want to go see the world and shit, and try to attempt to live a life that isn't predictable and boring like that.
You're not just another cog in a big 21st century machine.
Wheel cog, bro. Wheel cog. Cam's cogging it up right now, but he's not. He's
cogging?
No, he's not cogging. He's uncogged. He has no job right now.
Really?
But he's starting to get. Well, he's making money on the side with some. He has a good lead on a dog breeder, and he's kind of structuring his business. He has a logo now. He has a graphic designer working on a website for him. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it'll turn into something good.
I'm really glad he's like laying something out, you know.
Yeah, he's he's trying to actually he's trying to structure his own business. He has a business model and plan written out.
And he's doing it.
So he's starting to do it. So I think he's getting to the point where he wants to not be the cog, just like I am, you know.
Yeah.
Getting to that fucking point where it's like, Jesus, dude. it sucks working with people that you know better ways to do things, but they will never allow you to do that because it wasn't their idea and they're the ones in charge. Kind of, I don't know. Fucking annoying.
We have a micromanager at my work. You know all about that, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone does. That's the worst.
like I take my break, you know, and it's 12:48. I take my break, and I come back 12:59, and he's like, "Why do you take a 15-minute break?" What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't take a 15-minute break. Like, I was watching the clock the whole time.
Dude, yeah.
And then he's like doing shit for me when I know damn well I can do it better than him, you know.
Stay close to that phone, boy.
Stay close to it?
Yeah, they're nice and close, yeah. Dude, your voice is drifting. No, that's the worst, dude, when and also what's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, a couple minutes for a good employee, It's like shit, dude.
It's like that job. Like even our boss had a talk with him, and he talked to us about it, and he's like, I let him know this job is not awesome. Like this job kind of sucks. And these guys,
that's always good to hear.
If they take 2 minutes, an extra 3 minutes, like just let it be. There's no reason to micromanage it.
Yeah.
This is not a desirable job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, desirable jobs, dude. See,
I'm washing cars at the airport. By the way, I'm washing these rental cars.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah, I work at a furniture store, but now I'm in a position where I pretty much only like work between the warehouse and the back stock of the store. So it's like it's alright.
Yeah, they're like finally starting to see that how I just get shit done,
Yeah.
Like
if you're the one that always gets it done, they'll always come to you,
Yeah, I'm basically trying to get to the point where when the boss leaves, I'm in charge, and I can tell all these fuckers what to do,
Yeah.
Because shit'll get done.
Yeah, the leadership role.
Yeah, we can't have our quote unquote manager when the boss leaves. That's just doing the easiest job and doing it at a slow pace so he can't even help anybody else out. Like the whole point is to, fill the line and get all the cars.
It sounds fascinating, the inner workings of the shitty jobs, dude. That's why I'd like to do something like stand up, again, an unpredictable thing, which is a combination of my skills that I've acquired over the years. At least you'd be on like stage and you don't have to depend upon anyone else,
Yeah, that's my thing. Music has been super, super difficult to find people. It's super difficult to find individuals with like the same vision,
Yeah, the vision and the drive to actually,
yeah.
The drive and the ambition to actually get good enough at their instruments to be good enough to deserve to play a show in a big enough venue,
Like I was speaking to probably the person that, I respect musically most that I would want to make music with. And I was just bringing up a couple songs that, we should learn and just, duo these songs. And he made it sound like I wanted to make a cover band. And it's like, nobody wants to make a cover band. It's what you learn within these songs, like the techniques, like what you take from the song. Like I never have been able to sit down and just be like, oh, let's make music. Like I'm going to sit down and make music. You got to like put in a process, an amount of effort to learn something, learn a technique, and then that'll just stem off and you'll just make some random shit, while you're fucking around.
Well, that's the people are they're so wary of just fucking getting the ball rolling. It's like, dude, just start fucking playing. Like, whatever it is, if it's a cover, just fucking, that's how Van Halen started. That's how the Beatles started. You can do that. That's one way. Or you can, if you're both good enough at your instruments, you can just free form jam in, A minor, and you just jam in something, that's the ideal is when you're just good enough to do whatever. But it's like, if people are like afraid you just start playing with one another. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. And instruments are like, everyone wants to be a fucking rock star, but instruments are at an all-time low, dude. Fucking Gibson just filed bankruptcy.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, because I was at Guitar Center, dude, and I was looking at the Les Pauls because there's two guitars that you want ultimately. You want something like a Strat, in my opinion, and you want something like a Les Paul. They're the two worlds of sound. So I'm looking at Les Pauls as like a wild dream. And on the back of the headstock, there's this like plastic, shitty-looking box. You know, the auto tuners.
Yep.
Yeah. And I asked the guy, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You have this beautiful wooden mahogany and metal guitar, and you have this plastic piece of shit on the back. And he goes, every single model that Gibson makes from this year on will have that. You won't be able to get one that doesn't have that.
That is terrible.
I was like, they're going to have fucking problems then, because any real player knows you can have a Les Paul from 1957 and that bitch held up until today. So
and that's like, who are their shareholders, you know? Who's making that decision? Like, guitar players?
No, fucking nerds.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you're like, if it would have caught on, they would have been the innovators of all time. But because it didn't, they just fucking crumbled like I kind of thought they might. But I'm a real guitar player, you know, and there are some of those out there, those nerds out there, but I don't know.
I like to consider myself a real guitar player. I do put in a lot of time at this point. I'm very just creative, very unorthodox, but not unstructured.
Yeah, that's the thing is you have to be. That's because Jake was really brilliant and unorthodox, but then he lacked structure because it was too wild. It was too sit there. It was too out there that it didn't even retain melody anymore. It has to hold. You know, like I said, my cousin Vinny's like, it has to hold water or something like that. The melody has to be tight enough, like the fucking hull of a ship, that you can hold some water in that bitch. Like, it has to be solid, like, you know, like those, it has to be a solid enough melody that's structured. And if it's experimental within that, then that's what Stevie Wonder does. His melodies are unique. They're solid, but the notes that he travels through, the path is unique. And that's what makes it unique. So, shit is deep.
Yeah, and even with just the notes, just like the techniques, like just like adding a single hammer onto a melody that's, you know, a couple notes.
Well,
like my favorite songs are, you know, the most simple riffs that just have like a build up, like a lot of Rage Against the Machine and Red Hot Chili Peppers. Just like, I just love that, you know.
But it's not. I think a real guitar player, they get into the subtleties of, because a lot of people play guitar now, and there's a lot of information on how to get the information and do a lot of things technically. But it's all the little micro details of the way that you're hitting that note. Can you punctuate a note in such a way that isn't memorable? And all of these little tiny details add up to making it memorable. Like when you listen to a guy like Jeff Beck, or when you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan or someone like that, he's playing a line that's technically, it's not like Randy Rhoads or Van Halen, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like a million notes at once. It could be like 3 notes, but the vibrato at the end of it, the way he stung that note, the way he hammered on, like you say, doing a couple in a row. It's just when you get into those fucking details, that's when you become a real guitar player. Is when you start getting into why is that 3-note thing better than that 12-note thing. That's it.
It's all about the soul to me.
And this shit is deep, and that's what it is.
I don't mean to sound like a hippie, but
no, that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's not hippie. That's it.
That's where all my creativity stems from.
Yeah, dude. That's why you have guys that are like Paul McCartney, don't know shit about music theory. You know, they go from the feel, and they have the soul that no one else does.
Did you know Paul McCartney actually drummed for a Foo Fighters song?
It doesn't surprise me in the least, dude. I can now. What happens to you when you play for a certain while? I used to think it was fucking crazy that guys could just be like him. He was the bass player of the Beatles, and then he plays acoustic. and then he sings, and then he sings harmonies, and then he does piano, and then he plays drums. Like, I used to think that was fucking insane, and now I can sit behind a drum kit and just play. And I have such great timing. It's like, I can play, not like a real fucking drummer, but I can play a beat unlike I ever thought I could.
I
Because
cannot
I'm not
drum yet.
Dude, I noticed that with Jake. Like, it's, hey Jake, if you're listening, what's good? His timing is getting better and better and better. But I noticed my timing is so fucking solid. Like, it's like at some point, like I remember Patrick when we were recording. This guy I used to record with in Seattle. He said, if you played another instrument, it would be drums, the way you play guitar. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? But now I understand. It's like that your timing is so fucking important with how you basically need to be half of a drummer if you're really going to be a great guitar player too.
See, you're on Twitter. How do you feel about the
Deep.
music? How do you feel about the music industry right now? Like, how much
There
of
is
that do you see?
there's not, it's very sporadic, and there's no, Lars was right, son. Remember Lars?
Lars is
He
always
was right. Once you started giving it away for free and basically taking it out of their hands and not giving them money, the whole industry's real structure completely crumbled. We're never going to get to the point where there's a band name on a freaking private jet again, probably. There's no structure. It's maybe they could have a private jet, but it's because he got 1 billion downloads on iTunes. It's a different structure. It's more sporadic and it's online. It comes in these little spurts. When you're hot, and it's,
Yeah, people just blow up now. People just everybody tries to go from the outside in.
There's too much shit.
They're going through SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and then they just blow up. But they can lose it so fast, especially because of the social media.
Well, and it's also I think it's a problem with oversaturation. When there was less access to shit, the shit had to be better. When there were fewer bands, the bands had to be better. Now there's so much, it hardly fucking matters, It's hard to stand out.
And I think music has lost its individuality, like its personality. Like,
it's lost
musicians. People would rather listen to a music and be like, oh, I just want to chill, I just want to get hype. I just want to, dance to this. Rather than want to feel something from it, and take something from it.
Well, rather than, instead of having one of those elements, having every single one of those, plus having it be legitimate, You can have the feel, you can have the hype, you can have the dancing. Stevie Wonder songs have all that, but then they have musical technicality behind them. Shit is deep.
Yeah, music has just become so ignorant, to be honest.
Well, it's lost its musicians. It's lost, like I said, the real guitar players who sit down, they fucking obsess, and they smoke weed, and they think about different fucking techniques, different note combinations, different phrase combinations.
Back when instruments had personalities, and now it's just face tattoos.
Yeah, no, that's just bullshit, food. I know. But, I mean, if enough young kids, if they get into it, we only have 2 minutes, only 1 minute, episode 24. 24. This is deep. This is a deep cast. So Collin is a young boy going out to Eastern Washington University, where I went for a couple of years, and then failed like a loser.
I hope I don't, but
I dropped out. I didn't fail.
I could fail.
Well, you could fail, or you could just drop out.
I would drop out.
Yeah. I wouldn't fail out. I would just drop out. Because then you could always be like, fuck it, I'll just come back. And then you never do.
Exactly.
That's how it goes. Oh, shit. All right,
it's so fucking boring. School is so boring. It feels like I'm wasting my life.
Well, I think that's a good place to end the podcast. School is boring, and it's a waste of your life.
Definitely don't do it.
Coming from the mouth of someone there.
All right, don't go to college. We got another person letting you know how shitty it was. Or just don't go to Eastern.
All right. Yeah, no shit. Well, yeah, it's brutal when it's a farm town. All right, well, in the cast, episode 24, the I Don't Know What to Do with My Life podcast. And there's an email, if anyone ever emails, it's the IDK podcast at outlook.com. All right, word up. This has been Collin, special edition, and we out.
Word.
All right, eon.